Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Have you ever started working on a project and then wondered, why am I even working on this? What is the purpose of the project? What I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you 5 questions that I'd like to ask my project sponsor at the beginning of every project, just to make sure that we're working on something that's valuable and to make sure that we don't waste any of our time. Your time is your most precious resource, and we want to make sure that we're spending our time on projects that really matter. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Terry Nisolo and I am your project mentor. I have more than 10 years of experience working on continuous improvement projects in the field of operational excellence. And what I've done is I've created this little YouTube channel so that I can share my experience, my tips, my hacks, my advice that I've learned throughout my career with you, whether you are a seasoned professional or whether you are a newbie just starting out or looking to transition into working on your own projects. I'm here to help you. So what I'd like to do is help answer any questions or comments that you have. So if there's anything that you are dealing with at the moment, I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to drop a comment or question below and I'll definitely get back to you. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share a story with you about one project that I was working on. My project sponsor came to me and said that he has this very strategic project. It's really big, it's important, the business really needs it. Everyone's been asking us to work on it. And I work in a project team. So generally this is what kind of happens. My manager will come to me with different projects. And what I did before, based on experience that I've learned in the past, I started asking questions and I started asking him, what is the purpose of the project? Why are we working on these things? Where did it come from? And when I started doing that, he actually came back to me and said he doesn't actually know the answers to my questions and he will start to do a bit of digging. And now this is a very important thing to do. And the reason why is because sometimes you'll be allocated projects that maybe your manager thought would be a good idea. Maybe someone came to him with the request and just he accepted it, or he or she accepted it and thought it would be a good idea. So you have every right to actually go back and ask for this initial context, just so that also it will help you get started when you put together a project charter, which I'll create another video about a little bit later. So don't be afraid to kind of sit back and ask questions. And more importantly, you want to make sure that the projects that you're working on are important. They're strategically aligned to the business or your business department. They add value, and you want to make sure that you're working on projects where your stakeholders are actually saying, yes, please, we really, really want you to start working on these projects. I've actually been working on some projects in the past where I'm working on something, but my stakeholders are asking the question of, hey Terry, why are you working on this thing? You should rather be working over here because this is where the fire is burning. And that's kind of what you want to be doing. You want to be working on stuff that is business critical, that's important, and where you can add value to the business. Also, what I said, you want to spend your time wisely, as your time is your most precious resource. So you want to make sure that you're spending it on the project that's going to add the most value to your stakeholders. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain or share with you a few questions that I like to ask my manager or project sponsor when they come and ask me to work on a project. And I'm hoping that with these questions, you can use them and then get a little bit more context or background context on the project and make sure that the project is actually the right thing to be working on. And sometimes it might not be, and that's a good thing because you want to make sure that together as a team, you are adding value in the right area. You want to make sure as the person working on the project, it's the right thing to do. And by you going back to your manager and saying, hey, I don't know if this is the right thing, I don't know if we have the right information, you have every right to do so as well. So here are the 5 questions that I like to ask. So the first question that I like to ask is, what is the purpose of the project? Why are we working on it? Where did it come from? Is it strategically aligned with the business objectives or the goals of the department? You basically just want to get a little bit more clarity on that. The second question that I generally like to ask is, who's demanding this project, or where did this project come from? Who are your key stakeholders? Who are the project sponsors? It can't just be your manager. Maybe it is in this situation, but basically you want to find out who are the people that are actually coming to your department or coming to you and requesting for you to work on this project. There might be 1 or 2 or multiple stakeholders across different areas, which is fine, but you want to make sure that people are actually putting their hand up and saying, Please, we want you to work on this project because it's important and it's valuable and it's going to help us achieve our goals and objectives or whatever that may be. So you definitely want to make sure that it's coming or being demanded from somewhere. The third question that I like to ask is, what are the goals or what are the deliverables of this project? Generally, if the project is coming from somewhere, there must be someone that has an idea or a vision of a goal or a definition of what success looks like. And I want to know, what is their expectations of you working on the project or me working on the project? The fourth question that I like to ask is about budgeting and resources and support. You know, it's all fun and games working on a project, but if you don't have the right budget, approval, or support while you work on your project, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually implement something. So it's good to know, has this been budgeted for, or are you just doing analysis, or what is the kind of different phases of the project? So you just want to know what is the level of support or approval that you've been given with this project. And the final question that I like to ask is, what is the expected deadline or timeline for this project? Do they expect something to be delivered within the next month, the next 2 months? Is it a long-term project over a couple of years? You know, you just basically want to gauge and like to see how much or how long this project's going to be, so you can kind of plan accordingly with the existing work that you currently have going on at the moment, and also to gauge your level of capacity to see if you are able to take on another project. And those are my 5 questions that I generally tend to ask before working on a project. I find with those 5 questions, I have enough background context, information, insight in terms of the project itself. And also these questions help my manager to think about the project as well. Sometimes he's very trigger happy. So what that means is that someone will come to him with a project and he'll immediately accept it. I've had a few managers in the past that have been very similar. You know, they're very pleasing. They always want to take on more work, but then also don't really ask those questions and like really get into the detail. So it is a good thing to do, to just make sure that they've done their due diligence, they've done their homework, and also kind of got some information for you so you can kind of get started and hit the ground running. So that's really, really important. And as I mentioned before, I am your project mentor. So if you have any questions, or if you have any thoughts or comments, or you need my advice on anything, please feel free to drop me a comment below. I'm always happy to share insights and discuss topics and help out where I can. So if you have anything you'd like to discuss or would like a video on a different topic, whether it's stakeholder analysis, change management, how to handle different priorities, whatever the case may be, just drop a comment below and I'll definitely get back to you. And lastly, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you click that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there'll be a lot more content out there in terms of working on projects, getting started, and yeah, seeing how we progress from there. So all the best. Hope to see you soon in the next video. Take care. Bye bye for now.